Hi, YouTube fans. This is Matt of Post April 6th YouTube channel. You like that hat? That's a nice new winter hat that I got through Temu. It sure does feel comfortable. Whoa. I just unpackaged it out of the packaging that I received earlier today. And I tell you, I really like it. Because the black knit cap I had, it stopped right about here. And it didn't really fully cover my ears. And you can see it covers my ears. See, that's that there. And that's my other ear. And the bill of the hat, oh God, I'm still trying to work it out. It's a little crooked. But sooner or later it'll work itself back into shape. Yeah, because I've been wanting a new winter knit cap, and I was just like, this is a good one. Because it's kind of got that cable knit, like you know, like what the Irish like to do. And I got a really good deal on the hat. I needed a good winter hat. And I thought I would do that as I smoked this nice full bent Paul KRISWILL pipe. You know what this hat on? It kind of looks like a deerstalker hat that Sherlock Holmes would wear. It's not a deerstalker, but it kind of sort of looks like it. I really like it. I really do. Well, earlier today when I was at the grocery store, oh boy, we were slow, and then all of a sudden, I would say at least 14 kids come in that were loud and obnoxious, and you know, they were all talking loud and, you know, making these catcall noises towards each other and cussing, and my supervisor, she got really upset, and she really told them to stop several times. And I don't know this for sure, but I think at one point she said, "Look, you better quiet down. There's other people here. You're annoying them, and I'm gonna ask you to leave if you don't stop." Oh boy. Whew. Yeah, that thing really gave me a headache, and about 5 to 10 minutes later after they left, my supervisor comes over and says, "Okay, go ahead and take your last break." And I said, "Thank you. I'm going to get me some aspirin." And I meant it. I went to go buy the cheapest thing of Bear aspirin that was on sale. It was 32 tablets for, well, I shouldn't say the exact price, but I'll say this much. It was just a little bit less than $2.75. And I paid for that, and I got a nice Heath English toffee candy bar. And then I went upstairs and I unwound for a few minutes, and then I looked at my watch carefully and make sure I was only there for 8 minutes, and then I used the restroom, and then I go back downstairs, and I finished out for the day. And I was really glad to be home. Whew. And then this is what I did after I got home. First, what I did was I got out a thing, it's about this size roughly. It is California mild cheddar. You get it at Trader Joe's. And what I did is I removed the cellophane packaging that has to be on there to meet with the compliance of the health code and the food safety code. And then I got out one of those things that you use to, a cheese shredder, to cut things into little pieces about this big. And I just kept going like that, like that, like that, like that. And then I turn around another way and I go like that, like that, like that. I just kept doing that until it was all done. And I put it in a nice Ziploc bag. And then I put it in the freezer. And then I did some other things. And then what I did was I reheated the taco meat of what I made yesterday. Because you see, after I got home from work, I immediately started cooking. Doing the ground beef. Browning the ground beef first, and then adding the taco seasoning, and about 3/4 of a bottle of water. And what I used was old El Paso taco seasoning, and I just cooked it the right way. And then I brought, the old El Paso taco shells, and I chopped up some, instead of doing lettuce or tomato, I chopped up a red bell pepper. And then what I did I set everything up in these little bowls so that I could put things together exactly the way I wanted. And I added, first what I did was I put on the meat in the taco shell, and then I put a couple of pieces of red bell pepper, and then I put a little bit of salsa, and then I put the cheese on top, the shredded cheese. And I just kept eating them about 3/4 at a time, and then when I was done with it, excuse me, when I was done with that, I took a couple of spoonfuls and just fed them right into my mouth because the taco meat tastes so good. And then I put cellophane wrap on the things that I wanted to save for leftovers today. Well, anyways, once I got home, and I took public transportation home instead of like Uber or Lyft to save some money, I shredded the cheese like I've already said before, and then I reheated the meat, and I brought everything back in here, and I removed the cellophane, and I put it on this table, and I just kept eating them one at a time, one taco at a time, until the 3 taco shells were filled up and everything. And then what I did is when there was a little bit of meat, I just scooped it into my mouth, and I put everything in the kitchen sink. And then what I do is I proceed to go over to my laptop computer, and I edit. I add, the stuff so that people can do closed caption stuff, and I also put in a bunch of tags in all of these YouTube vlogs of, part 1 through 9. And I really worked until I just couldn't do it anymore. And then what I did was I watched a little bit of YouTube. For a little bit, I was watching Restored. And that's where Lance and Wyatt Bush in a certain part of rural Texas, they're a father and son, and they're both pretty smart, and they know how to do this. They're taking an old 1956 or 57 or 58 or 59 Ford that has a V8 in there, and they're going through all the steps to get the truck to run again. Yeah. And they haven't got it to start yet, but they're getting there. The compression's getting there, but they got to do this thing with start with they go, and then they got to check this, and they got to check, and then they go, and then they're gonna put in the spark plugs, and they're just gonna try every trick in the book until it fires up. They'll get it. They'll get it to run. They will. The odds that they're not going to are like 12%. So there's a 88% chance they're going to do it. 88%. Well, I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed seeing me with this nice winter hat on. In fact, I'll take it off. Oh, I look like I normally do now, instead of like somebody else. Thank you, everyone. And I hope you have a good day, a good afternoon, a good evening, and goodbye now. Again, thanks a lot.